Claustrophobic corridors filled with endless waves of lightning-fast mechanoid terrors encased in an arcade cabinet that actively taunts you. Despite its harrowing description, the 1980 arcade smash BERZERK isn't a horror game, but it certainly gave anybody with the change to spare a good reason to be afraid of it. A gameplay quirk that would evolve and become a defining staple in survival horror as we know it today. BERZERK was manufactured by Stern Electronics, one of the many opportunistic gaming companies formed as the arcade industry started to boom in the late 70s. Stern got themselves a decent head start by buying up the assets of the bankrupt Chicago Coin, the outfit who you might remember from earlier in the series that spurred on the creation of Exidy's Death Race with their crippled finances. Directly inspired by the early Unix game Robots, or Daleks in the United Kingdom to capitalise on the runaway success of the hit sci-fi TV series Doctor Who, BERZERK threw you into maze after maze of lethal robots lusting for your annihilation. Unusually for the time, you didn't have to murder everything on the screen to progress. If the odds were too great, you could just book it out of the nearest exit to spawn in another maze, albeit to a chorus of taunting. But as you progressed, your mechanical adversaries quickly became much more adept at chasing you down. Thankfully, the robots were also notoriously stupider than a sack of shit on a short bus, and could be easily baited into killing themselves on the electrified walls of the maze or blowing each other to pieces. However, BERZERK's true nightmare began when the game decided that it was sick of you spending more than 10 seconds on a stage without being shot to death, and so unleashed the first true glimpse of evil incarnate in gaming history: Evil Otto. Otto was terror made flesh, unkillable by any means and utterly deadly. The only thing you could do when this ostensibly playful looking smiling spheroid entered the maze was to run for your goddamn life. Initially, Otto moved at about half the speed of the player, but if you decided to piss him off by not immediately shitting your pants and bolting for the door, he would swiftly put his foot down and home in on you like a grinning panic hornet. Otto's presence made BERZERK an utterly unique game, in that his appearance on screen immediately changed the playstyle from a simple yet intense shooter to a stress-inducing chase where escape and not combat became the primary concern. Despite going on to distribute many of Konami's early titles in the United States, Stern never found the success they needed to survive in the video game industry outside of BERZERK, even with a direct sequel in 1982 called Frenzy. I'm way more familiar with Frenzy personally, as I played it to death on my ColecoVision when I was a kid, and although a surprising amount of people seem completely unaware that it even exists, it is by far the superior game, even at the expense of Otto's terrifying invincibility. This time around, Otto can be killed in 3 shots, a difficult feat on account of his movement pattern, and a near pointless one thanks to his immediate re-emergence after you kill him. The walls are no longer electrified but can either be shot out to provide cover or used to pull off insane trick shots that you're totally meant to do. Look at that shit! Do you see? I can't begin to tell you what a legend I thought I was when I was younger for smashing those out. Frenzy also introduced feature rooms into the mix that allowed you to instantly kill an entire maze full of robots, send them crazy, or just passing through here, boss. No need to get... Oh no. No. Evil Otto was the progenitor of the indomitable pursuer in gaming. His bloodline runs down to such iconic monsters as Resident Evil's Nemesis and Clock Tower's Scissorman, as well as laying the most basic foundations for the concept of fleeing your enemies rather than fighting them, as observed in Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Atari managed to fuck him up in the 2600 port by allowing the player to kill him, the same way they fucked up the entire gaming industry in 1983 and brought it crashing down on everybody's heads, Stern Electronics included. But thankfully, his legacy endures. Next time on Dead Pixels, we're rolling over to 1981 to check out an epic giant monster attack simulator on PC, the massively influential Crush, Crumble and Chomp.